My name is Emmanuel Coelho, and I'm here to present an STTR on reduced order modeling for underwater vehicles environmental awareness. At AOS, we are a team of scientists and engineers covering expertise in the areas of ocean acoustics, oceanography, data processing, bioacoustic, and operational integration, powered by the passion to address challenging problems that can have a major impact in the decision-making and operational planning. For this STTR, we are partnering with a team from MIT, led by Professor Pierre Larmosier. The major objective of this work is to enable persistent underwater autonomy. And for that purpose, platforms at sea need to be able to update their knowledge about the local environments so they can react and adapt accordingly, and in this way update their optimal path and position themselves on the water column in a safe way and operate their sensors optimally. The transition targets for this work are the battle space information systems within the PEO C4I, PMW120 littoral battle space sensing, and PMS 406. The requirements we are setting is that these updates, they need to be done rapidly in a way that would allow in stride inclusion of the information the platforms are collecting en route, and be integrated within the command and control algorithms of the platforms. The information being delivered to the platforms themselves needs to be over Iridium data rates so that they can have worldwide coverages and be operational consistent. Persistent underwater autonomy requires the platforms that are engaged on the long-range missions to receive regular updates of the environments where they operate so they can adapt and react accordingly. The present systems the Navy has rely on the very large files with ocean fields and atmospheric fields being delivered to local teams and platforms. And of course, if these platforms, they don't have large bandwidth systems, they will not be able to include these updates on their decision-making process. As it is, the present system is going to be developing two additional steps, as shown in the picture on the right, that will enable local teams that have access to multiple platforms to receive the updates using kilobytes, files with kilobyte sizes. And this way, they'll develop a regional operational picture that will support some sort of supervision of the platforms at sea. The second step, as described on the box on the further right, then it will rely on the smaller bandwidth connections and will basically consist on the integration of local updates that will enable these platforms themselves to update the fields where they are locally operating and to fuse the information they are observing through their local sensors. As mentioned in the previous slide, there are two steps, as described here in the picture in the upper right, for the usage of this reduced order modeling solution. The first box, the one in the left, it's tagged as heavy system because it requires more computational resources, and the box on the upper right is tagged as light system and is compatible with AUV payload integration and requires less computational resources. The key on these sort of solutions is that they use a set of bases or a dictionary that is developed from the historical data sets as constructed from the global and regional Navy forecasts. And these dictionaries can be updated using some new information that we might be able to achieve locally. But in order to do these updates, you require more computational resources that are not compatible with an autonomous vehicle's computer systems at the moment. And as such, we leave that as as a solution that can actually reside on command centers or operational centers, and that will be able to reconstruct and improve the forecast system solution that can actually be transferred to the local platforms, and in parallel will allow these teams to have some controlled supervision of the platforms at sea, and also integrate locally in Stride some of the observations that they are actually obtaining in near real time. We anticipate that by the end of fiscal year 22, we will be at TRL 4 to 5. When using these reduced order model solutions, we can expect that some errors will result when delivering the forecasts. For that purpose, we develop a set of experiments, and one of them is actually shown in this slide that uses a subset of options that we are studying. These are the one that's called SVD, singular value decomposition. The other one is the KSVD, and the third one is the SVD using an orthogonal matching pursuit. And these three options are then compared with the persistency, which corresponds to not actually using any forecast at all, and having the platform just relying on the last available ocean fields prior to their deployment. We can see on this experiment that by comparing the plots on the left and the right, that there are some differences. But the first thing to note is that all of the solutions are better than persistency. So again, it's better to use some of these solutions that rely on just kilobytes file transfers than not actually using anything at all, which is the persistency. And now, on the boxes on the left, we can see that they rely on having the dictionary and our basis being developed using a 7 days sequence prior to the actual forecast. And in here, we can see that most of these algorithms, they match. So there's not a big distinction. But when comparing these results with a 5 months lag dictionary, meaning that we develop the dictionary and then we just compute the forecast 5 months after, we can see that in here there's already significant differences. And the SVD solution, that it's the simplest one, is performing less well than the other more advanced techniques. And we should note that for persistent autonomy, some of the platforms will not be able to update regularly the dictionaries, so they might very likely rely on dictionaries that have 5 months or more time lags. So these boxes on the right would be more consistent with the platform solutions, light systems, and the boxes on the left with the heavy system or operating on board of ships or command centers. So the major benefits we will have over using these reduced order model solutions is that we will be able to transfer over Iridium rates the updates that will enable the platforms not only to assimilate the data from their local sensors, but also to update the environmental fields that they are using for their command and control. And this includes the route planning. And we can see on the picture on the left, on the bottom left, that although some errors might still persist on the reduced solutions, they in these experiments that we did in the laboratory setups, they are consistent with the actual forecast. So the errors are not large enough to make different solutions for past planning. While if you are using persistency, you likely are going to get wrong guidance for your platforms. In parallel, when looking to acoustic propagation, so we can look at the box on the lower right, we can see that the errors are also not impacting strongly the acoustic propagation prediction. While when using persistency, we can have very, very large errors. And the experiment was done along the US East Coast that has a large component associated with the tidal variability. And you can see in here that by using persistency, you can actually mask completely duct propagation that is captured well both on the forecast or on the reduced order model solution. Different native V programs have different requirements for their long-range persistent autonomy efforts, and but they are all consistent in terms of requiring the updates of the environmental fields to their command and control systems. As such, our primary transition target will be these Navy unmanned vehicle operations programs led by the Navy agencies. To plan these transitions, it will require that we'll build testing and demonstrations that we plan to do by leveraging with Office of Naval Research programs to achieve a TRL5 and eventually an higher level vehicle integration, so that the transition can be achieved in subsequent phases. Our short-term objective is to enable the usage of these solutions we are developing together with MIT to deliver alternatives to the Navy customers and enable long-range persistent autonomy. For the medium term, we anticipate there's a wider applicability of these solutions, and these include, for instance, the transfer of information associated with the uncertainty of the ocean and atmosphere forecasts. At present, the Navy is developing solutions with for the ocean and the atmosphere that include running ensembles, meaning that these gigabytes files with the ocean fields are now going to be multiplied by a large number associated with the number of members of that ensemble. And in order to transfer these files to customers would require the large bandwidths and the long time frames. However, by using these sort of reduced order model solutions, we might be able to rapidly distribute the ensembles and the uncertainty, and in this way operationalize the implementation of uncertainty fields into the decision-making process. Other sort of applicability has to do with the fast transfer of environmental information for air and surface warfare support. And this is something that we will be trying to coordinate with NAVAIR and NAVSEA scopes in the near future. And this is it. Let me remind you that at the Applied Ocean Sciences, we are a team of scientists and engineers addressing challenging problems in the ocean and the environmental sciences. And so come and talk with us about your needs, and we will come back to you with alternatives and solutions. Thank you for your time.